requested for a land to build their very first trading center. So they went to the chiefs at Elmina in Elmina, requested for the land, but then the land was never given to them. The chief, Nana Pamela Assin the first, refused to give them the land. He told these people that I'm okay with you trading and going back to your states. But then having a permanent settlement is not something I'm willing to give you. So then the people left. But they would never take no for an answer. They went very cunning and deceptive. So then they went to enrich their proposal and came back to the chief. He gave them the land closer to the shore so they can build their trading center. The center I'm talking about, the trading, so-called trading center, is the Elmina Castle, the St. George's Castle, the very first built slave dungeon or global trade center built on these coastal zones is right there. But then let me ask you this. If we want to build a mall for the people of this town and we have been given this land here, would you and I build a prison in a mall? But then you see, these people had already thought of their journey here. They knew what they were coming here to do. So when they were given the land, for them to build a trading center, they constructed structures that were later turned into slave dungeons. So if they had no ulterior motive, would they have done that? No. So the journey was all about getting Africans to go. So that was by the colony. Fair enough, they traded, they got the gold, agri, pepper, spices. And they paid us with tobacco, whiskey, mirror, guns, and gunpowder. How much is 18 carats of gold now? It's worth thousands of dollars, right? How much is tobacco? Whiskey, mirror. Let's combine all of them. Do you think they are close to the value of gold? So when you weigh the trade, you realize it wasn't a balanced trade. By 1492, the Portuguese made it to the West Indies, which is now the Caribbean. 1500s, they made it to the Americas. Around the area at Massachusetts, that land was taken from the original owners of the land. The native Indians were taken hostage on their own land. They snatched the land from them and they used it to form the New England. Being used on plantations like tobacco, cotton, coffee, sugar cane, they were not doing so well. Some got exposed to diseases like smallpox, chickenpox, others, and they were dying. So then they decided to find alternatives. For the labor forces they need on the plantation, one particular person, his name Bartholomew de las Casas, a Spanish Portuguese Roman Catholic, came with a suggestion that Africans are stronger than the natives. So go to Africa, get them to come and help you solve your labor problem. You see, the strength they are talking about is not this. Look, we have brilliant people. In this whole world, even though we are not in the limelight, we are the real brains behind everything we are using. Let's make mention of the mobile phones, the security systems, and all this stuff. We invented all of them. But then we are not seen as the original owners of it, right? There you go. So they never came here for the strength like this, but then everything, they got it. When they came, the first set of enslaved ancestors they got was the victims of wars. They got them through manipulation and deceit from our own leaders. They went to them telling them that if you keep having this group of people closer to your natives, you are endangering your lives. When you fought them, they were your enemies. They've lost land and then families. Don't keep them close. You keep them close, they'll get to learn your strengths and weaknesses. They'll strike you and there is nothing you can do. So let us all put each other out. I am going to supply you with guns and gunpowder. Fight the battles. Bring the victims of war to me whenever you fight. After you claim the territories, that will be my payment. The ancestors believed them, so they gave the victims of war out. That's why I get to call the leaders greedy and naive. Because they believe the strangers over their own. When the people say we sold each other, they have a point. In business, there is something called barter trading. I give you something of value for something of value back. The proposal was they will supply you with guns and gunpowder for your victims of wars. When you came with the victims of wars for the guns and gunpowder, what did you do? Was that what you said? Even though they never knew the exact thing they were going to do to them, they might believe it was the same thing we were practicing here that they are practicing. But then they said ignorance of the law is no excuse, right? For decades. Now demands shoots all the way to the highest peak. The Dutch, the Danish, the Spanish, the British, all of them came here. For the same thing the Portuguese were sporting, they fought each other for nearly 130 years. When the British took over, they introduced raiding, kidnapping, ambushing burning homes, forced families into chains and shackles, made them to walk for so many miles. We have a historian, her name is Akosia Adomafem, professor of the University of Ghana, Legon. She wrote a book entitled A History of Indigenous Slavery in Ghana from the 15th century to the 19th century. Stating in that book, she's told that many slave markets were used all across the west coast of Africa. From Benin to Gambia, Gold Coast right here, had close to 63 slave markets. Salaga, Sampa, Janamika, Kekrachi, Bono Manso, Techiman, Picoro, Atosu, Assin Manso, Cape Coast Castle, and Luna for Amsterdam for William, Sedabriku, all the way to the Christian Small Castle in Osuaka, just to mention a few. The ancestors walked all the way from Niger to this place. You see, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali are all landlocked areas, central. So they had to access the ocean by coming here. For 1,100 miles from Niger, they walk. Imagine yourself in chains and shackles, walking for miles through the forest. You are weak. When they face animals, animals will feed on them. So they will tie some of them to trees, give them multiple whips to give the animals a bait. When the animals focus on them, they move the rest out of the path. To cross a river called the Pra River, it was used so they couldn't cross it with their chains. Some of them got drunk and they were carried right there. They arrived there hungry, dirty, skinny, and very, very tired. Right here, they were fed not because they were hungry. They fed them to build them back up. That way, when you have some flesh on your bone, people cannot buy you for the price they would have on you. And that's exactly what they did. After that, they shaved the men off. Those who have grown bushy hairs and beards, they used sharpened knives and broken bottles on them. Once all that was done, they decided how old they were by using the number of teeth they have in them. So they will count your teeth to get to know your ages, group you, and they take you on the walk to the river. The river is down there. Before we go, you walk in and you met the ancestral graveyard. 3 different graves in there. 2 were brought back in 1998, Crystal and Samuel. Samuel was captured, was a captive in the US. He was born into slavery, but then he escaped. That ended the day they were away. Fought during the Mexican-American War in the year 1846. He didn't survive. He died and was buried on the Navy Yard. His great-grandnephew, Sonny Abubakar Kakasan, got him. 1998, he was flown into this land with the same remains of Crystal. Crystal captured from Gold Coast to Jamaica because she wouldn't eat anything. Embarking on a hunger strike, she was caught in an act to force her to eat something. And using the chisel and hammer method, they took out the teeth. Placed the funnel there, dished the food into the funnel with water, she survived. But then she was strong. Each time she's forced to eat, she waits quietly after they are born, and the fingers goes into the throat, and she threw everything up, continued and died in the process. Oral history has it that her dying wish was to be brought back home. So then they honored the request of her. They brought her to the airport, picked her up on the bus. They were going to the dungeon at Cape Coast, but then when they got to the town, known as Abanze, the road was blocked by a large number of youths, came there to welcome them. When they told them, look, the ancestors never left you on buses, they were not in an airplane. You should have shipped them the same way they were shipped out. They provided them with a boat. They picked them on it across the Atlantic to the Cape Coast dungeon. They went through the door of no return. Forced the door open, brought them through. They created a new name for the door as a door of return. Which simply means time has come for us to start coming back home. For the past 26 years, they've been buried there for their souls to find peace. 2019 was the 400th years of African resilience. And we saw the return of the Prime Minister of Barbados, coming in here with remains of her ancestors. From Barbados, they were excavated from the marsh grave. She flew them here to be buried for their souls to find peace and rest. That's how come we have the third grave here. If any of you seated here today has ashes of your relatives with you, either in your neck piece or probably a container in your bag, and you want to sprinkle or spread their ashes all here, we will allow you to do that. Or you can take it to the river and allow the river to fill their spirits. That's what this place is all about. So unlike people say it's an attraction site, I said no, this is not. There is nothing here to amuse you. If I don't come to entertain you with the story or the history, there is nothing. You just come round, and then you go. So this is a reverential garden, a center for learning, and a place where we can pay homage to our ancestors. From here, we will take the walk to the river, where they have their last ever. So please, we can be.
Money. Just wait a minute. Just many people don't come in at the same group or the bus.
So we are about to take this walk to the river. And you are all my queens and kings. And in Ghana, our kings don't walk barefoot. So we are going to the river. I want to impose something on you. It's a very simple question. That's the only thing I get to impose on people here. I want us all to ask ourselves this simple question. Had it not been that our ancestors survived the journey across the oceans to the New World, where would we be? If they hadn't survived the plantations, where would we be? Now take a look at where you are. Look around you. Ask yourselves this. What do we owe to our ancestors? Keep that. Don't tell me. I'm not here for you to answer to my questions. I want you to keep that thought. Center everything around it. We take the walk to the river, and when you get there and you feel like sharing something with the spirit of your ancestors who sacrificed themselves for you to be here, then you do so at the river. That's the only thing I get to impose on my diaspora families. If you were white, I wouldn't. Yes. And then here we are. Back home to the mother. So that's the question I want you to answer. So we
Beautiful bamboo. This is ooh.
Look at this one.
Wow.
When are they
So
building?
strong.
When are they building?
Yes.
That's very strong
Oh,
wood.
very
You
strong.
can't break.
Look at this, man. This is awesome. That's
It will not break.
wow. Big root.
And it's water.
Yes.
Between each
And you can use it in so many ways.
to drink.
See them making all those utensils, plates, forks and spoons. More natural, right?
Right.
Monique stuff. So welcome to the Ancestral River Park. Monique. Monique. No, take it. It's not a bug. It's just a piece of stick. Just love you. Here we are, heading down to the river. Last spot. Again, it's Conroy and Monique in Africa. Here's Monique and Kwame. I'm just saying, Monique and Kwame. Nature's umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, trees. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ancestral river. Storeroom.
Yeah. Okay. So when we come back, we can get some.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be right.
Alright, so we're going in. Oh, this is storeroom. Okay. These are the different kings and chiefs. Kinte cards. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, yeah. Alright. I saw my first name in the middle there. Okay. This is again Conroy and Monique in Africa. We're going down to the last mod that our ancestor goes before they go down to the castle. And here we are coming right back to the first Brandon over there. So you can see over there. It's the first bot of the time. Look at the beautiful bamboos. Let's make a nice little crown. Suck it off. I'll tell you later. So, last bite.
One is known as the manso, which is the female. So it is the slash neck. The other one is the silver. Something which can grab you. Brought to this place, baked in soap in the water.
More people coming.
Okay, we are currently here at the ancestral river, also known as the last bath. It was right here that the ancestors had their last ever bath. For them, they never knew it was a last. They thought they were just taking a bath after a long walk to this place. So then, when the captors brought them here, they would not allow them to go to the other side of the river. Looking at how it flows, they thought when they allow the ancestors there, they will get washed away and they'll lose everything. That's the river known as the Ochi River. Ochi means something which can grab you or wash you away. They never allowed the captives in there. The ancestors were kept on this side. This has its own source. From the mountain, it flows so gently from this same community. That's the river we call the Non-Consuo, which is the slaves' river. Whilst the ancestors were in there, they couldn't bathe themselves because they had the shackles on like this. How do I clean myself if I have my hands tied to each other? All they could do was to support each other. I get closer to you and I help you, you help somebody else. Repeat that until everyone got cleansed. They saw them and they thought they were trying to free themselves to escape. Or probably they wanted to keep each other company, so they separated them. Once they were separated, they cut the bamboos. Using the itchy leaves, and the bamboo leaves are very itchy and sharp. They used it on them. They gave them scrapes and bruises all over their bodies. After they were bruised, they would then pull them out and line them up here. Allow them to get dried. After they got dried, they will apply shea butter or palm kernel oil on their skins to make them look shiny and presentable for the buyers to come here. Those buyers who were here were looking for healthy looking captives. They have in their hands the long branding tools left in the fire. Whoever is selected had to be branded. So they will mark you. Either your chest, your shoulder, your back, your forearm, or wherever they decided. They will brand you there to tell the public that you are now their properties. They then were taken to the dungeons for shipment. For about 40 to 80 kilometers, they walked from here to that area too. They were never picked on anything. They walked throughout the journey. Some of them were left in the chains and they were classified as useless commodities. Every single one of them was shot. They killed them here and dumped their bodies all around. Left them to rot. Nature had a place covered. People call it the bamboo slave dumping site. Others say the bamboo slave cemetery. I don't like the word cemetery because they were not properly buried. I prefer to call it the bamboo slave dumping site because they were dumped. It was nature that helped to cover their bones. Today we are here not as the enslaved, but their descendants. We are here to represent them, and we are not going to have a last bath. We are here to represent them to wash this off. We no longer have to carry the burden of the last bath on our shoulders. It is no longer a thing that we must keep to ourselves. We need to wash it off so that we can get rid of all the epigenetics, the generational traumas, and every negative thing that this whole infamous trait has left on us. We get to wash it off, and that's why we created the first bath of return, also known as the Sign Kofa birthright healing bath. Back to your root birthright healing bath. I know you took your bath in the hotel. This is spiritual. We need to tackle it as such. So all you need to do is to go close to the river, put your hands in there, rub it, touch your body, and you feel it. Pray and let go of all that you feel is weighing on you. This is the moment to get rid of all of that. Do not hesitate to cry. Okay? Because it's painful. You have to let it all out. So this is why we are here for the entire healing process. So please, come with me slowly down the stairs and have a comfortable moment.
Okay. First bath of return.
it.
Thank you.
Deep, deep.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
The hand brought here.
The enslaved, the enslaved.
Remind me to take back my this is the river, the last spot. And this is come on, getting some of the water for our sister.
Going down.
Yep, so that's the river and the bamboo trees. Sunlight at the river. 360. Come on, money. Madam, put in on this because get dark. Come over here and take a picture. A video. Me and Monique. Conroy
I'm on it.
in Africa. We're at the last spot.
Wet my arm.
Yeah.
And put my fingers through the water.
Pick it up. Constant flow of water. Another group. All right, take a break. That's Monique's shoes, and that's Conroy's shoes, and that's her going down barefooted. And this is my feet here. First time. walking down the stairs back to the river, this time barefooted. First time touching the soil in Africa. We're wearing slippers and everything else. And
I'm not
finally,
far.
yeah, you don't want to slip. And that's Monique. Slipper. Alright, so that's Monique. Yeah, let me come over. And then, this look like gold in the sand. Look like gold. You see the sparkling in the water? Let me show you. Monique. You see the sparkling in the water? That's what river does. River will carry like gold in the water. There you go, the socks. Okay. Alright, come on, Monique. Monique, hurry up. Alright, so we're back to our shoes. That's Monique's shoes and mine. And we're getting back into putting on our socks.